What's up, everyone? This is episode 34 of the Sports World Podcast. My name's Nick here with Jet and Colton. Mike should be joining us soon. Today, we're talking about MLB opening weekend, the NBA playoffs, and answering some of your guys' questions, starting with the NBA playoffs. On Tuesday night, we have two games for the 7th seed. The Cavs take on the Nets, and the Clippers take on the Timberwolves. Let's start in the East with Cavs versus Nets. Thoughts, predictions for this game, anything like that? Jet, let's start with you.
I mean, my expectation for that game is that the Nets should handle this. I know that the Cavs have done like really well defensively this season, but I still don't think they have an answer for Kevin Durant like at all. Outside of that, I mean, I've loved this Cavs team the whole season, but they're so banged up. Like it is so unfortunate the state that they're in going into the playoffs. Just injury after injury with first Colin Sexton and then now they're missing Jared Allen coming into the playoffs. It's really tough.
Yeah, the day we're recording this Monday night, Jared Allen was announced out for the play-in tournament, or at least this first game. So that's going to hurt them a lot. And like you said, KD, Kyrie, these guys have a lot more experience. They both won NBA championships, so I expect them to just take over and dominate this inexperienced Cavs team.
Yeah, it would take an absurd game out of Darius Garland for the Cavs to win this. It's tough. Or maybe LeVert comes out looking for some revenge. I don't know.
Oh, I forgot about that.
You never know. Maybe he pops off, but those two guards are going to have to do the heavy lifting offensively.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Garland play. Haven't really seen him in a game this big his career yet, so
this will be his first big test.
After such an amazing season, let's see how he steps up in the spotlight. All right, moving over to the West, it's the Clippers versus the Timberwolves. Kawhi is still out for anyone who doesn't know. Paul George is back for anyone who doesn't know that. This is going to be a good game. Towns, Edwards, they've been hot this year. The Timberwolves have impressed a lot of people. Since Paul George came back, the Clippers have started to get a little hot. You see them find their rhythm. But thoughts on this game?
I think this is definitely a much closer matchup than the other play-in game we just talked about. I'm pretty big on the Wolves' wing defense, so I think they could make things a little bit tough for Paul George. But I don't know how I feel about this one. I think this is very coin flippy. I think
this is gonna be a great game. I'm going with the Timberwolves in this one.
Yeah, I'm really high on the Timberwolves team.
I like that team, man.
They're a lot better than a 7 seed, man. They're just in a stacked conference.
That's true. And the Clippers have played really well. I mean, the thing about the Clippers is they've played like an 8 seed that they are without Paul George. Their roster has been nothing, and they've still gotten wins and been like. I think Ty Lue has just done such a great job with that team this year. So I think they have a chance for sure to win this game. But
such a great coach, bro. Everyone hated on him in Cleveland. They said LeBron was the coach, LeBron's the GM, but this dude has continued to succeed elsewhere. He's incredible. And like you mentioned with Karis LeVert, this is a Pat Bev revenge game.
He ain't losing, bro.
Pat Bev drops 30.
That would be awesome. Trust Ivica Zubac to shut down Pat. I think
that's the biggest mismatch of the game right there, I'd say.
Yeah, this is the
cat takeover.
This is a Towns triple double ready to happen.
I don't think the Clippers have. We would have to see prime Paul George for them to be in the game. I think.
I expect to see Paul George take over this game. I don't know if it'll be enough though. I don't know if he'll get the necessary help.
Cat. I don't think there's not many centers that could cover Cat. And Ivica's not.
Yeah, and like I said, this is not. I don't see this as the ideal matchup for the Clippers and Paul George, just because I'm pretty big on. They've Jaden McDaniels. I think he's available for this game. Finally, he's been back from his injury, and then Jared Vanderbilt. Those two guys have done really well defensively, and I think Paul George will see a lot of those two.
Vanderbilt plays defense, grabs boards. What else do you need?
They'll make things annoying for Paul George for sure.
It's going to be a great game. I'm excited for that one. The winner of Cavs versus Nets takes on Boston in the first round, by the way, and the winner of Clippers versus Timberwolves takes on the Grizzlies. A Timberwolves versus Grizzlies first round.
Both those series could be interesting.
That would be nuts. All right. Moving on to Wednesday's game. It is the 9 seed versus 10 seed in both conferences. Let's start in the East. LaMelo Ball and the Hornets taking on Trae Young and the Hawks. Great matchup in store. The winner of that will take on the loser of Cavs versus Nets for the 8 seed. Thoughts on this game?
I like this matchup a lot because I have no idea who's gonna win. I will say one of my biggest keys in this game is the Hawks. I feel like they cannot guard the the Hornets backcourt like at all. I think LaMelo Ball and Terry Rozier both benefit from great matchups, and as long as they can do their thing, I feel like I kind of like the Hornets to win this one.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if this game is 140 to 135.
That's true. Neither team plays any defense.
It's going to be. Point. I'm excited to see if LaMelo takes over in the spotlight. He's no newbie to the shining spots, so excited to see how he plays. We know Trae Young's obviously stepped up in the past, and it's gonna be a great matchup.
I'm excited for the world to see Mason Plumlee on the big stage. The world needs to know how good he is, man.
I expect the Trae Young takeover. I'm going with the Hawks.
6-10 and 3
Ooh, the Trae Young takeover with the Hawks win. Okay, I could definitely see that happening. I don't think
I've been
can defend him either.
Yeah, I've been dissing the Hawks for a year now. I mean, I had them as a 7 or 8 seed in the beginning of the year. I was called a madman, like Thanos, but they're on pace to get that. So the West 9 versus 10 is the Spurs versus the Pelicans. Colton's guy Zion is not available for this one, but most of their starters, I believe, are like Valanciunas, McCollum, Ingram. They'll all be playing. So going to be a great game. We know the Spurs have obviously had a lot of success in past years. Popovich trying to make it back to the playoffs. Thoughts on this game?
DeJounte Murray's an insane player, but the Spurs got lucky with the Lakers collapse. I think that's why they snuck in. The Pelicans came up late, especially with that CJ McCollum trade. He's actually taken over him, Jonas, B.I. That's a great big three to have. I don't think the Spurs are going to be too happy with their performance against that team.
Yeah. One thing I want to point out, I just posted the NBA standings. The Spurs are 30 games behind the Suns.
Yeah.
So if they get it, the Pelicans are much better. Pelicans are 28.
But the Pelicans have been without everybody the whole season.
I know.
The Spurs are just the best of a bad bunch at the end of it.
What I'm saying is, if they get in the playoffs, they'll play the Suns in the first round.
Oh yeah.
It'll be a 30-game difference in a first-round matchup.
That's a good point.
To put it in perspective from the East, the worst possible team that can get in the East is the Hornets, and they're 10 games behind the Heat.
Yeah.
Who are the 1 seed in the East.
Kind of insane.
Because nobody
30 games.
Nobody pulled away with it.
No, it's insane.
Does that say how good the Suns are or how bad the Spurs are?
I think it's a mix. They're 14 games under 500.
Yeah, I mean,
they're not a good team. They're way below average. The 10 seed in the East is 4 games above 500. The 10 seed in the West, the Spurs, are 14 below 500. So I don't know. It's no matter what, they're going to get smacked by Phoenix in the first round. It doesn't matter.
I think the situation, though, I think it's really going to be fun for the world to see Murray on the big stage because he's such an underrated player.
Oh, yeah.
He's literally a walking bucket. It's just kind of the same thing as Garland in Cleveland, where the matchup isn't favorable, but you really get to see these like young guards like on the big stage for the first time, and like that's actually really good for you.
You know, I completely agree with that, and that's another thing I was just going to touch on. It's such a bad matchup for DeJounte Murray with Herb Jones on him this game. Herb Jones has been such an excellent defender this season. I think that is a nightmare matchup for the Spurs. I think the Pelicans should take this pretty easily. CJ
McCollum has a history of stepping up in big moments as well, at least in, like win or go home games. In Portland, we've seen many of those. I expect CJ to take over this one.
And it's another big man mismatch too with Jonas against the Bull. It's like at the end of the day, just the stardom there just isn't there for San Antonio right now.
Yeah, I feel like the Pelicans kind of cruise this game. I don't think it'll be I do think it'll be the biggest blowout out of the 4 play-in games.
I can see that for sure.
That unless KD drops 60 as he can.
Or if the Hornets come out flat, maybe.
Whoa.
Trae Young just absolutely takes over.
Mason will be ready. Don't doubt him.
2 days later on Friday, it is the loser of 7 versus 8 versus the winner of 9 versus 10. The winner of those games will get the 8 seed in the playoffs. We're not going to touch on that much since we don't know the matchups, but just wanted to point that out. There are a few first-round matchups already locked, and on Saturday, the day starts with Jazz versus Mavericks in Dallas. The Mavericks have had some very even matchups over the past few years against teams like the Clippers. Twice, right? They played the Clippers twice. Back-to-back years. So
yes,
the Jazz are just as great of a matchup for them as the Clippers were. I expect the series to go 6 or 7. Going to be a great one. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
Well, let's be a little bit careful here because Luka Doncic is in serious jeopardy of missing games in this series. So
I heard it was at most 1.
I don't know.
But that one at home could be a big one.
Yeah, it's an uphill battle to me for the Mavericks in the series, despite how well they've played in the regular season. I think that group of guys, it is tough for Luka to carry those guys to playoff wins. Like, he's gonna have to have some incredible performances, especially against the Jazz. Which, I mean, he's done it. I'm pretty sure he's done well against the Jazz this season, but I don't know. The Jazz are just so much better of an all-around team, at least typically, but they've had some struggles this season as well. So it's kind of a weird matchup. You have Luka that's hobbled versus the Jazz, who have been underperforming compared to last year, the past few years. So I don't know.
The Jazz have struggled to win big games this year. They just blew like a 20-point lead to Phoenix a few days ago. It's just, I don't know. They've choked a bit, but I expect Gobert to step up. Not that he's been playing, too bad, but I expect him to, really shine in this one. Mitchell's obviously going to do his thing. If Doncic is just healthy, he's going to do his thing, but we'll see what happens. This is going to be a great series.
Yeah, I would lean Jazz in like a 6 or 7 game series personally.
Yeah, I think I'm going to agree with that.
All right. Dinwiddie steps it up. I don't know, man.
True.
Who?
Maybe Dinwiddie steps up, wins them a game 1 without Luka. Imagine.
Dinwiddie in the playoffs after being stuck in DC. Gotta feel happy for him.
NBA is crazy. You never know.
The next matchup is the Grizzlies versus the winner of the Clippers versus Pelicans game. So we'll see what happens there. No, sorry, Clippers versus Timberwolves. And another locked matchup is Raptors versus Sixers. A rematch of a couple years ago. We all know what happened there. Kawhi, big shot in Game 7, bounced on the rim 4 times, and Embiid was sent home crying. This is going to be a great, great series, in my opinion. Harden has struggled versus the Raptors, I believe, this year.
Yes.
I believe there's one game in Toronto where he was
they just played
not good.
They played recently.
Yeah. I don't know. It's very tough to win playoff games in Toronto. We've seen that for a very long time. Great series. I don't know what else to say. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, so these two teams, like I just touched on, they did play on the 7th. Today's the 11th.
Oh, wow.
They the Raptors were without Fred VanVleet and who was it? I think they were without Scotty Barnes, I want to say. One of the wings. They were without one of the wings too, and they won that game with the Sixers healthy. But this series, I agree with you totally. I think this is going to be a great series. I think there's way too much noise out there. Like, have you seen it's really popular take that the Sixers are just going to take this series in 4? That there's no shot.
No. I could see 5, but it's going to take a lot. I think they need to play like their best basketball this season, and I don't see them necessarily doing that.
Yeah,
I got them in 6 personally.
Yeah, so on paper, the Raptors will definitely have a tough time guarding Joel Embiid just because with Pascal Siakam being their center, he's a little bit undersized. It's going to be hard to defend Joel, but they're going to send doubles at him. They're going to play some zone. This is not going to be Pascal Siakam defending Joel Embiid. You have to know that.
Yeah.
And another factor in this series is going to be Matisse Thybulle. He'll be out for the games that are in Toronto because of the vaccine mandates. I think that'll be pretty significant just because there's one guard or wing on Toronto that's going to have a much easier time than they would otherwise.
So he'll be out the first 2 games, right? The first 2 games in Toronto? Or no?
No, the 2 after.
So he'll be out for the middle 3.
Yes, games 3 and 4 he will be out.
That's probably kind of huge because that's like clinching territory.
Yeah, so the series kind of depends on whether the Raptors are able to take one in Philly. Like
if
Philly goes up 2-0, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think they could. That's where I could see them winning it in 5.
Yeah.
In 5 or 6. But I like Toronto's team a lot. I think I've mentioned this on the podcast before, maybe before we moved over to Zoom, but Toronto's just such a good 1 through 5 in their starting lineup. Any of those guys can go off any given day.
And they're so deep too, and well coached. It's just such a great franchise.
Yeah, and 2 of them are going to benefit from a matchup with either James Harden or Tyrese Maxey on them. Those are both going to be favorable, whether it's Gary Trent, Fred VanVleet, or OG Anunoby that gets to deal with those 2. They'll definitely have an easier time. I don't know. I think the Raptors will make it a series for sure. I would say.
Oh, yeah.
I would say Sixers in 7. How about that? I think they're going to make it a good series.
I think a lot of people are sleeping on this Toronto team.
Yeah, 100%.
They've consistently been good for so long. It doesn't matter who's on the floor; they can compete. They're even if they do end up getting swept or losing 5, I bet you all 4 of those games are going to be very close and hard-fought battles. So we'll see what happens there. There's been all this talk about Jokic and Embiid for MVP. I know it's a regular season award, but if Embiid wants his respect, he's gotta step up in these playoff series and take his team to the conference finals or the finals, and which is something he has not done in the past. We've seen him fall apart a few times. We've seen the Sixers in general fall apart a few times. So they got to step up, especially with another superstar like Harden.
I'm very excited to watch Joel Embiid shoot 50 free throws every game. That's what you can expect.
Speaking of Jokic, the next series that's locked up, Nuggets versus Warriors. You'll touch on Steph's health, I'm sure, but Klay's been getting very hot. This Nuggets team has been pretty consistent all year. What are your thoughts on this series?
Honestly, I'm not entirely sure if Steph. I think Steph is supposed to be back, right? I don't remember the last update we've gotten on that.
I'm sure he will. I feel like it'd be more talked about if he wasn't.
Yeah, for sure. But if it is Steph that's in there, I still think it's going to be tough. I mean, it's tough because the Warriors don't have a way to defend Jokic. There's no way. I mean, Kevon Looney is a decent defender, but he's not going to handle Jokic. So I think the series, it's gonna be an insane one in my opinion. It's battle of Steph and Jokic, but I really like the way the Warriors have been playing without Steph. Like Jordan Poole has been going off. He's been insane. Down the stretch of the season, these last 4 or 5 games, Klay Thompson has been incredible. So I think the Warriors are able to find a way and win this series in 6 or 7.
They're gonna need Andrew Wiggins to step up.
Yeah,
he's been struggling a lot over the last few weeks. Yeah, he's going to be a key piece in the series, possible X factor. So
is Murray healthy for Denver or no? No, still.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Unfortunately, if he was, that would make the series so much better.
Right?
What do you say?
Michael Porter Jr.
MPJ. I don't think he's playing in the series either.
Damn. I think he's possible to return in a later series, but for this one, no. I think this could be the most exciting series of the playoffs. Honestly, it could easily go 7 with multiple shootouts, multiple well-defended games. I don't know. It's a very unpredictable one. So
the Nuggets have been awesome recently. I could see it going either way.
On Sunday, there is only one locked matchup with the Celtics, Heat, and Suns awaiting their opponents. That locked matchup is the Bulls versus Bucks. The Bulls have been one of the coldest teams in the playoffs over the last few months, honestly. I believe there was one game recently where Levine and DeRozan both played and they lost by 30, 40. That was they looked bad. The Bucks have not. They've been picking it up. You see Giannis obviously doing what Giannis does. I got Bucks in the series. I expect it to kind of be close. DeRozan's got a lot of experience, but what are your thoughts here?
I think for a team like the Bulls that's struggling as much as they are right now, I think the Bucks are probably the last team you want to face in the first round.
Oh yeah.
I think it is a horrible matchup. Just plain and simple, it's a horrible matchup. I think because they have I don't see them defending Giannis at all. I think Giannis has absolutely dominated that matchup in the regular season as well. I think the Bucks handle the series in 5 personally.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because
the defending champs.
Drew? It'll be Holiday, right?
On who?
On DeRozan?
Or Levine.
He'll be on Levine, I think, because size.
Middleton probably on DeRozan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, Giannis is on the court. When Giannis is on the court, there's not much you can do.
Who's the Bucks power forward? Starting power forward.
What do you mean?
Bobby Portis?
Giannis.
No, sorry. I'm sorry. The Bulls.
Yeah. That's DeRozan. They're playing Patrick Williams.
Oh, okay. I know they're not going to put Vucevic on Giannis, are they?
They kind of don't have a choice.
Yeah, good luck.
Because I think the Bucks have been going to Brook Lopez. I think they've been starting Brook Lopez lately, so he'll just kind of stand in the corner. Yeah.
So is Bobby Portis coming off the bench?
Yeah. At least that's what they've been doing. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, the Bulls are gonna have no answer for the Bucks in this series. Like you said, I got 5. I expect a few of them to be close, but defending champs against the coldest team in the playoffs. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm not sure what the Bulls are doing. They're either starting Patrick Williams or Javonte Green, and neither one of them are handling Giannis. They're not helping handle Giannis. That's not a thing. Yeah.
Again, we have 4 teams awaiting their matchup. That's the Grizzlies, Celtics, Heat, and Suns. Any thoughts on just those teams in general and how they've looked?
I really like Miami. I think their depth is one thing that makes them scary in the playoffs. Like we saw in the last game of the regular season for the Heat, they sat all their starters. They also sat Tyler Herro. Victor Oladipo dropped 40.
Yeah, they're incredible. That's
So-
got to be one of the deepest teams in basketball.
Yeah, I think they're poised to make a run in this playoffs for sure. Yeah, the Suns look good. It's nice that they're healthy because that was obviously in question down the stretch of the season whether they were going to have a fully healthy Chris Paul by the time the playoffs started, and they do. So they're going to be awesome for sure. With other teams,
Grizzlies and Celtics.
Grizzlies, Celtics. Grizzlies are a little bit weird because they've been awesome without John Morant, and they're not quite used to playing with him again with their normal group of guys. Like I don't know. I think John Morant and Dylan Brooks have maybe played like a handful of games at most, maybe like 3 or 4 at most this season together. So that could be interesting. But they've played like incredible defense as a team. The Grizzlies have, and you would think they're going to be in an even better spot with Ja back, but who knows? From a chemistry point of view, it could be a little bit dicey.
The Grizzlies are a weird team because they're so young, they're so inexperienced, but at least in these moments, you really don't know how they're going to perform on this stage. And depending on their matchup, I could possibly see them being upset in the first round, maybe in 6 or 7 games.
Yeah,
but like a team like Minnesota for sure.
Mm-hmm. And then, like you mentioned with the Heat, that's my pick to come out of the East personally.
Probably mine too.
They're so deep. They're so good all around, well coached. I know they're young at spots, but they have a lot of experience. In the bubble, they went to the finals. Last year, they made the playoffs again, got swept by Milwaukee, but still, yeah.
They're one of the teams team that is kind of equipped to guard Giannis as well, to handle him.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We've seen in the past.
Yeah.
Heat versus Suns finals. That would be something else.
I feel like we're on a crash course to that.
That would be something else, dude.
I think so too.
I just think that whoever comes out of that Boston, New York series or Brooklyn series, or that team, whoever comes out of that series is going to give the Heat a run for their money.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Curious if we'll see any Ben Simmons.
I want to talk to you about something like that. Something related to that. So a lot of people don't know this. Kyle Korver is a Brooklyn Nets shooting coach.
Yeah, I knew that.
Ben he can't play, but he's had a lot of time to, be in the gym and get shots up. I wonder I know they've been working together because he's a shooting coach and he's Ben Simmons, but I wonder how much of an impact that might have when he returns.
When can he
play? Possibly. Maybe
he
comes out and hits 5 threes in his first playoff.
That's what I'm saying. Can you imagine? What if they just kept this behind our back and he shows up and they back off and he just drills like 3 threes in a row? And they're like, oh shoot, we got to guard him now. I'd highly doubt it as well, but that would be pretty cool sight to see.
To have his presence in the games though. Even just like even if he's only able to give them like 20 to 25 minutes, it'll still be big for them.
Yeah. The team out of the 4 that we didn't mention are the Celtics. They've been one of the hottest teams after the All-Star break. A lot of people, didn't like this Tatum and Brown duo heading into this year. They thought they couldn't play well together, but they've certainly proved them wrong. It's one of the best duos in the league. They're the 2 seed. So again, they'll face the winner of Cleveland versus Brooklyn. And if Brooklyn wins that game, that's going to be one hell of a series.
Yes, it's unideal if they have to face that in the first round because I'm pretty big on the Celtics. They've been obviously undeniably good down the stretch of the season. Like it's a tale of 2 halves for them. They were like a middle of the pack to bottom tier East team at the halfway point of the season, and now all of a sudden they're the 2 seed and waiting to see who they play in the first round. But yeah, they've been awesome. I don't even know what to say. Like Tatum has been incredible. He's damn near an MVP candidate.
Wow.
Heading into the All-Star break, they were 34-26. They finished 51-31, which is a 17-5 ending to the season. Yeah, it's gonna be cool to see what they do in this series.
Yes, one of the big reasons though why I am skeptical of the Celtics in these playoffs and why I think there is a chance that they could get rounded by the Nets, especially the Nets if they come out of it, is the loss of Robert Williams. That hurts. Defensively, that hurts. They're going from Robert Williams to Al Horford / Daniel Tice. That is one of the biggest downgrades I could even think of, except one of the star centers going down.
A lot of people aren't talking about that loss, and that kind of bugs me. He was so impressive the entire season.
And awesome.
Of course, he had to go down.
Yeah, that's going to be a huge factor for sure.
Yeah, Nets versus Celtics would be a rematch of last year's first round, where I believe the Nets swept them.
Yeah,
but Tatum was hurt
in the regular season as well, and the Celtics beat them in a really close game, their most recent matchup, if I'm not mistaken.
It's gonna be a crazy playoffs. One of the least predictable playoffs we've seen in quite a while.
I think so too. It's gonna be awesome.
All right, well, that's it for the NBA playoffs segment.
Good.
Moving on to our second segment, the MLB season begun just a few days ago. We don't really have any specific approach to this one. We're just going to be talking about things that stood out to us and general thoughts on how it's gone so far. I guess we'll start with you guys. You guys can start this one.
Brandon Marsh just hit a 3-run tank in the bottom of the first against the Marlins.
Anything that stood out to you guys? Jet, Mike, Colton?
How about the Cubs? They just randomly looked incredible against Brandon Woodruff, Corbin Burns, and Freddie Peralta. That's not something I anticipated in the opening series of the year. They put together some great at-bats. I watched a lot of those 3 games, actually. They were putting together great at-bats. Saya Suzuki looks like he could hit at this level. It's random, very random, but yeah, the Cubs were able to get to those 3. They choked against Freddie Peralta. But
you mentioned 2 of like the 5 things I have in my notes that I want to talk about.
Okay.
Or 3 actually. The Cubs, Suzuki. That kid is just such a professional.
Yeah, you can already tell he's a pro hitter.
He's so poised. His discipline is incredible. He's gonna be a star.
Their team play discipline was awesome in those 3 games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was impressed. Very impressed.
I'm not sure what kind of long-term success that they could have because their pitching is very, we'll say, limited. But yeah. They've impressed in the opening weekend.
I told you in the PS4 party, they're like a 70-win team at best, in my opinion.
Yeah, probably.
What were you going to say, Colton?
I think you can't talk about opening weekend without talking about the reincarnation of Barry Bonds out in Cleveland, Stephen Kwan. Out of nowhere. Probably the best hitter on the planet at the moment.
You guys are touching everything in my notes already.
He's a 5'9", 170, 5'9", 170 of pure hit tools.
Dude, there was something I saw on Twitter that was so funny. The Guardians tweeted, "Can't imagine not having the greatest hitter alive on our team," and they were talking about him. And somebody said, "Wait until he hits arbitration. Should be easier to imagine then."
Ouch. In my notes, it'll say Stephen Kwan on base 15 times in 4 games. Is that accurate?
Besides the 9 hits, he has walked 5 times.
He had 2 more today, unless you counted those. But it's ridiculous. Going back to the Cubs and Brewers real quick, one thing I tend to look for and notice in series is how teams bounce back. Like you said, the Brewers had 2 elite pitchers on the mound in their first 2 games, and they lost both those games. And then on day 3, Sunday, there were 8 winless teams that won. And obviously, winless isn't too crazy at 0-2, but 8 teams were able to bounce back on Sunday and pick up their first win. That's just something I like to notice. One that stood out was the Guardians. After being completely shut down in their first 2 games, they came out and scored 17 on Sunday, and they scored 10 more today. So it's pretty ridiculous. I love when teams are able to keep their professionalism and bounce back and prove they don't suck.
Yep. The only undefeated team of the first series, the Tampa Bay Rays.
Against the Orioles doesn't count.
Against the Orioles.
Yeah.
Why does that count? It's the best team in baseball. They split up the best team in baseball.
Well, the best team in baseball did not win their series, but it also doesn't count because the Rockies at home are basically Martyrs Row. So
I guess we could touch on that. The Rockies with a 3-1 series win over the Dodgers.
At home doesn't count. Best team in baseball.
Wait, it was a 4-game series. They won today.
No, it was 2-1.
It was 2-1. My bad, tripping.
Yep.
Yeah, could be another Rockies team that's just absolutely incredible at home, and probably mid.
Did you see their win today off a replay?
Yeah, that was bad.
I actually didn't see that.
Wait, what happened?
Came out because it was someone slid at second to bring out double play, but it came out his path, and they called him out and they called the runner out at first.
Yeah, it was Garver. There was one out, runner on first, and he hit a ground ball to the shortstop, I think. He tossed it to the second baseman, and then Garver slid.
Yeah.
It looked
because originally Rogers when Rogers got the ball at second, he threw it away at first, and a run scored, making it a 1 game with the runner in scoring position. But then they looked it over and they called them both runners out to end the game.
Wow,
it really bothers me when
Texas was pissed.
fans overreact. It's like a team like the Dodgers losing 2 of their first 3 games.
Oh yeah.
Like they're not going to go win 100 games in the year.
I actually want to talk about
55
the
win
Sunday game between the two. Jen knows what I'm talking about. 8 of the, I think it was 13 total runs scored were unearned due to errors by outfielders. There were
Colorado
20-mile-an-hour
weather, man.
winds with the altitude. It was not a fun time to be an outfielder.
Yeah, that's got to be pretty rough.
That is rough.
Yeah, I mean, it's not to take anything away from the Rockies, but
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
honestly, they actually surprised me. They were taking really good at bats. Connor Joe is going to be a very underrated player this year.
Oh, he shredded y'all.
Oh yeah, and then he hit a home run today, I think.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
I think he did. And that was the second.
yeah, to the people in the comments saying, "What's wrong with the Dodgers? What's happened to the Dodgers?" It's opening series. Let's calm down a little bit. They're going to be just fine.
Yeah, it'll be okay.
5 wins.
Speaking of bouncing back, like I mentioned, how about the Padres? Give up a walk-off home run in the first game, come back up the next day, and throw 6 no-hit innings with a new pitcher. Shut him out, I believe.
Wait, what? You talking about
The
Sean
Padres.
He went
Yeah.
7.
Darvish went 6.
Yes.
Yeah, first 2 games for the Padres, starting pitchers through 13 combined no-hit innings. That's pretty impressive.
All right, I want to ask the two Padre fans: how much of that do you think was it the Padres being good, and how much of it do you think was the Diamondbacks just being the worst
First
team in
night on
baseball?
opening day, I looked over the Jet and I said, Darvish walked like 5 hitters and gave up 2 nukes that were foul balls, and people are overreacting like crazy because it wasn't that amazing of a start. He just happened to not get hits.
Yeah, he got
Balls to
some.
play.
Yeah, he had some luck in that start for sure.
Through 6 no hits, he gave up 2 nukes that were foul balls. He couldn't find the strike zone. Had some defense behind him. I'm not.
Yeah, that's my NL Cy Young pick.
Yeah, but Mania came out and shoved though. He was just
Yeah.
filling up the strike zone, getting ground ball after ground ball. Like it was some prime sinker baller stuff. He looked really good.
And then they had another shutout in game 3 or 4, right? Yeah, I believe they did. Back-to-back shutouts, right?
Did we?
And no, Musgrove, because Musgrove gave
No,
up.
Musgrove
Not
gave
game
it, yeah.
4. Yeah, no, not.
No, we
I
only
don't
had a
think that
shutout when Mania start.
Yeah, Mania started only.
All right. Well, regardless, a lot of great pitching to start the year from the Padres.
No, yeah, for sure. Starters that look really good.
We mentioned Stephen Kwan and Seiya Suzuki. I don't know if I pronounced his first name right, but another young star stepping up already. Bobby Witt Jr. Great defensive play. I know you guys saw that. Potentially saved the game for the Royals.
That was awesome.
He's also stepping up. Yeah, I don't have a lot to talk about. How about them Orioles bouncing back?
How about them? How about
Cedric?
was it the Nationals and the Mets?
Yeah, they lost 3 and then they won.
No, but not even that. They were just going at it. The Nationals were hitting everybody.
Yeah, it's so weird. Why that's already happening.
Buck Showalter was the first one out of the dugout. That made me so happy. That made me
mad.
so happy.
He was so mad. That was crazy.
We talked about Bobby Witt. What about all the other young rookies that made their debuts? We saw Torkelson play. We saw Julio play. We saw Hunter Green make his debut.
Abrams got his first hit.
He was really good.
Abrams.
The other Padres rookie got his first hit right after.
Yeah, Jose Azocar. Yeah.
Yep.
All these young stars we've known are finally coming up and playing meaningful baseball in the league. It's crazy to see.
On
You guys
opening day.
breaking
It's
Such an awesome
on
rookie
screen,
class,
late
bro.
opening day. I mean, this
And just
the 3-headed beast in the AL between Torkelson, Witt, and Julio is going to be an insane rookie of the year race. Hunter Green was throwing 102 in Atlanta.
you're forgetting the best rookie that hasn't.
Yeah,
been
well,
up
the
yet.
Orioles don't
Yeah,
believe in
well,
that. So,
Bobby,
you know,
He's injured. He's injured. When
they
he's
don't
up,
believe in that.
when he's up. Not only is he a rookie of the year candidate, he's an MVP candidate.
Okay.
Adley Rutschman, by the way, for anyone
He was like-
confused.
Okay. I'm not gonna. I'm gonna let you have your moment, Nick. I was gonna say something.
I'm not.
Really
He was
fire.
drafted in college and he's still not up. He needs this much time in the minors after being
Bro.
that. It's kinda
Just wait.
All right.
Just
Colin went in,
wait.
so I'm gonna say you can't be an MVP for a 40-win team. You just can't do it.
Hey, 50 win
The
team.
50-win team.
Bro, the O is future though. They're about to get another first overall pick. They have the first overall pick this year.
Okay, we're not going to talk about the O's. Probably the least interesting thing in
We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
The Washington Nationals lost their first 3 games to the Mets. They bounced back and won, and now they're up 6-1 on the Braves at the time we're recording this. So, can the Nats do something?
Well, one for the best player in baseball.
Wait, you said against the Braves?
Yep.
Dylan is
Dylan.
having a good time right now.
He's at that game right
He's
now.
just-
How about let's talk about the Braves? They came out and underperformed. They
Oh, yeah.
don't look good.
Well, we see that every year. I'm sure they'll be fine. Why are you laughing? That's true. They come out, they underperform in the first half, and they step up. We've seen it time and time again.
Who, the Braves?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, just take last year into account.
I didn't anticipate them coming out and losing.
I mean, they had to make
That
like
Cincinnati
5
team
trades
is
to make
dreadful.
it happen. But
Yeah. Well, I think we should talk about Cincinnati more than we should talk about
That
Atlanta.
Cincinnati team is the best TikToker in the planet. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, but they're not.
Let's talk about Joey
He's
Votto.
also on Twitter now. He's also on Twitter.
He's on Twitter.
Let's talk about Joey Votto.
Bro, that dude is
I
funny.
honestly,
I don't know what got into that guy, but
He knows. He's like, you know what? We suck. I have all
Just
the
have
things
fun
here.
with it.
F it.
we
Let's-
got to sell tickets somehow.
We got it.
You know what? You know what might factor into it? Joe Burrow.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
All the hype that Burrow's getting across the street.
You think?
Joey Votto has
The
had
2
too
Joes?
much-
I think it's midlife crisis
No, I'm being-
for Joey
Bro.
Votto.
No,
I'm
I think
being
it's
dead
more like
serious.
that.
bro.
I'm being dead serious. I wonder if the Reds and Votto saw Burrow and the Bengals getting so much hype, and they went, you know what? Let's try to do the same thing.
I don't
No,
think
so-
that's
The
the
2
case.
Joeys. Joey V and Joey V, both in Cincinnati.
I think Joey Votto has had one too many bowls of Skyline chili. That's all,
I haven't seen him.
you know.
I don't
How about
even
the
It'll
know.
happen.
Yankees?
It'll happen in Cincinnati. It'll happen.
Oh,
Not so good, but it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. That's Detroit Tigers.
Yep, I would
Javi Baez,
agree.
Grant Drung,
Just such an interesting team.
swag to that. The Motor
boo.
City has its swag back.
He hit a bomb today.
They never had swag to
Hit
begin
an
with.
absolute bomb today. He'll walk off in the beginning of the season against a very good White Sox team.
What the White Sox losing all their damn pitching,
That
They're
bullpen
dropping
may
like
not
flies
be as
over
good.
there.
bro. They are. It is bad.
Yeah, that escalated quickly for the White Sox. Jeez, they're already down bad.
Hey, who they lose?
Oh
man?
shoot!
Giolito's hurt now too, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the other one.
There you go.
Yeah, Dylan
Kimbrel's
Cease-
gone.
I
What's his name?
Crochet's out.
Crochet. Yeah,
Crochet, that's who I was thinking of too. Yep.
Yeah, their pitching went from one of the deepest in the league to they are going to be starting Vince Velasquez in Game 3 of this series.
Maybe not game 3, but yeah, he's. I think he's currently in the rotation.
Their pitching staff is not. And after the loss of Kimbrel, and then Pollock's hurt now too.
Oh,
Just
well,
like that.
everybody saw that one
Pollock,
coming.
dude. I forgot
Everybody
about
saw that one coming.
Oh my god.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
this
Spark
White
the,
Sox
uh,
are down bad.
Although I expected it to be a little bit more down the line, but you know,
If they
it happens.
if their injuries continue, this division could be up for grabs more than we think.
Cleveland,
Also-
baby.
That Seattle Mariners series was probably the best of the weekend, I'd say, besides Boston, New York.
Yeah, I was about to say we haven't touched on the 2 best series of the whole
I
weekend.
think it's at this point everyone knows Buxton is a top 5 player in baseball, but he just can't stay
Absolutely.
healthy. 'Cause when he's on the field, he is a top 5 player, no doubt in my mind.
Incredible, dude. I think that team works. Dude, Sonny Gray looked great.
So
I love
does
the way he
Trout.
looked.
Every
Trout, Shohei,
even us,
are above him.
we question the trades they made, but it works.
It works for sure.
It's just works.
Yeah, it was like these trades are sus. Like you're
Yeah,
probably
like-
not gonna compete. Like
yeah.
maybe it could work, but it looks good
They
so
put
far.
together a team. Yeah.
For who, Minnesota?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they got a squad.
Correa, Buxton, Sonny Gray, John Ryan. They got some dudes. They traded away their closer for no reason, but you know what? We'll take it. I'm for one and all.
Hey! Paddock's on the mound on Wednesday.
Oh, he's gonna deliver, all right.
Luke Voigt just got plunked. Jeez.
Like a UPS driver.
Nah,
The UP.
you guys saw the joke. UPS actually delivers.
Yes, that's funny.
I want to go over to the AL East. I want to touch on that Red Sox Yankees series.
I think we should talk more about the Orioles second. I don't know. That's just what
About the Orioles.
Can we talk about like Yankee Stadium? Like should be like sent to the moon.
Dude, it's so
Dude,
dumb.
Bro,
Rich Carlo
that
Homer was one of the stupidest homers I've ever seen.
I'm gonna grab a charger. I'll be right back. You guys continue talking.
Okay.
Alright.
Yeah, so that absolute rocket just to the first row, directly over the wall, first row.
Yeah, and like, what is the outfielder going to do about it if it's hit 110? You know what I mean? Like,
that would not. I believe that would not have been a homer anywhere else.
yeah, no, that one and the LeMahieu one, only home runs at Yankee Stadium.
Okay, but Giancarlo squared it. Giancarlo looked
that. Okay, that's fair, but at the same
Giancarlo
time,
only hits rockets though. We expect that.
Smashing. He's so good when he's healthy too, man.
Yeah, I love him.
Wrote him off after his MVP season in Miami. Oh my god, he's so good still.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about Garrett Cole?
Oh my gosh, Garrett Cole.
So
I'm not gonna overreact yet.
The Phillies have an
We'll
absolute
see.
breakdown defensively.
Ooh,
But-
Joe Adele to the moon.
Joe Adele is on the
What
board.
Phillies do best. The Phillies scored 5 runs in the 8th to take the lead.
We talk about Joe Adele's errors.
Oh, dude, that clip. Oh my god, trying to throw home and it ended up down the first baseline.
That was so bad.
Not supposed to happen.
I did not see that.
And then there was another error the Angels had. I don't know, the first baseman, or I think it was Walsh. Yeah, I think it was Walsh. He tried to throw home and he just airmailed it, kind of like Bellinger against the Giants that one year.
Oh god.
Or last year, actually, not that one year, but last
Yeah,
year.
there's a lot going on in this this Phillies Mets game today. I think it looks like Philly has the lead now, but
I literally just said that.
It ended, right?
no, yeah, I know. I was gonna talk about from earlier in the game. In the first 3 innings, the Phillies had 3 errors and gave up 3 runs on them.
Wasn't it all Alec Bohm? Didn't he have all three?
I think so. So yeah, the camera zoomed in on Alec Bohm, and you could read his lips. He said like, I hate
this place.
Yeah, he's like, I effing hate
Yeah.
this place. So that's
Which
not
is-
great. And then they go on to probably win that game.
That is probably the hardest market to play in sports, I'd say, because Philly fans are psychopaths.
Either that or the team playing against them in New York. Those are both teams that'll boo your own team consistently.
Well, Dodger fans do it too. Only to Kenley, though. Only to
The
Kenley.
Dodger fans are not that bad. The Mets fans are worse than the Dodger fans when it comes to that. I think they're even more
I
disrespectful to their own
know.
players.
When it comes to dissing your own team, absolutely.
I know y'all saw that Pete Alonso grand slam.
Oh yeah.
That was.
I didn't. I
See
hate that
how
guy.
long Nuke he hit today?
I just try to avoid that guy at all costs.
How about Mark Canha hitting 700 for the Mets?
Oh,
Play.
yeah. Yep, that'll definitely. I mean, it won't last, but, for now, it'll play.
That'll
Yeah.
play. Lindor's looked a lot better too.
We didn't even talk about the Blue Jays.
That's what I was.
Oh
that's what
my
I'm saying.
The Blue
There was
Jays
3
hit like-
series that we didn't even talk about.
They hit like 9
7
in that series.
Blue Jays are pretty good at baseball.
They were down 7-0.
Vladdy casually hit the farthest ball of his career.
Yeah.
Oh my god. That
And then
was-
Shohei had an exit velocity of like 119 or something like that.
On a
But he
double.
hasn't hit a home run farther than Austin Barnes yet, so he's irrelevant.
Yeah, and then speaking of the Blue Jays, they just shut out the Yankees today, 3-0.
yeah,
in
Alec
Yankee
Manoah
Stadium.
was awesome.
Yeah, Jet last night was like, "Oh, dude, should I start Manoah in fantasy? I don't know, man."
Because I respect what the Yankees have done.
No,
so
because I'm
far.
like, bro, I don't think the Yankees are a lineup where like they would scare me like that. Like I'd start something against the Yankees, like Manoah.
No, yeah, fair enough. Manoah looked awesome today.
And I'll mention someone for Dylan here. Dylan's AL Cy Young pick was Alex Manoah, so Manoah.
Oh,
It was Manoah.
So-
Wow.
wow. Wow.
Remember
So I wanted
that?
to point
Yeah,
that
I
out.
don't remember.
Wow.
Yeah,
I'm sure he would have said that if he was in here.
interesting.
Could happen.
Oh my god, it
Who's
was.
mine?
That
Mine was
definitely could
Garrett
happen.
Cole.
I don't remember looking at that. That's like one of those wild picks.
With Cole underperforming, that's wide open. You never know.
What about a player likely to regress? Colton taking Shohei Ohtani. It's been true so far.
So
That is
not bad.
100.
Not bad so far.
Hasn't hit a homer yet. What a bum. I think me and Mike both nailed our improvement though.
Cody
Player likely-
Bellinger had 2 hits in 1 game, baby.
Mike, you said Tyler O'Neill, player likely to regress, and then that first
and
game,
absolutely. I know he hit a home run. I get it.
and like
I
4
get it.
RBIs.
I get it. I've already heard
Man,
this from
At least we had
multiple.
fun and didn't pick freaking Mark Melanson.
That's literally what I told. Oh my god! It definitely
a
happened.
38-year-old closer that plays on the worst team in baseball.
Hey, he didn't get to closing.
He regressed. Okay.
Hey, he still pitched though.
Who did have called down?
Um, Yeah, no, I definitely heard it from multiple group chats. I stand by it.
You still think he's gonna?
I
I
respect
stand by it. I stand by it.
I respect it.
I am not gonna give those people the satisfaction after 1 series.
Dude, I am terrified of what the Blue Jays are going to do to Baltimore in their first series against each other.
They might hit 50 home runs.
You should not watch the games. Just friendly.
I don't know if
At least don't expect.
I don't know if you guys are aware of the history between those two teams, but pretty sure the O's winning percentage against them over the last decade is probably 50.
Wait, is that series in Baltimore?
I have no idea, but it's going to happen eventually, obviously.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah,
Why is it-
not going to be good.
Why?
hopefully those new left field dimensions will help. Probably won't, but
That's literally the
hopefully they-
anti-Blue Jays. The right-handed lineup is literally the anti-Blue Jay wall.
Yeah.
I mean, it's what?
I mean, they
10,
could go
15 feet?
Oppo 450, but I mean,
Are they
Yeah, it's not going to make a difference.
happens.
All right, anything else we want to touch on?
Bryce Harper needs to figure it out.
True.
Poor Angels fans, bro. All that talent every year.
It's fun. The Giants and Marlins had a really good series.
Yeah, that was back and forth the whole way.
Jazz Chisholm had an insane diving catch. Jazz Chisholm was benched and went on Twitter and was not very mature on Twitter, which will happen at a young age. But that's okay. He'll learn.
Dude, the Rays are not that good. I'm going to be honest.
You're dumb.
That's
Okay.
a third or fourth team in the AL East.
No.
I don't think so.
They'll win 105 games and be in first place.
They're the Tampa Bay Rays. They'll figure it out.
We'll see.
It doesn't. They win 100 games. It's not.
I know my baseball, Jet, and the Rays are
Calling out the
bottom
Rays.
two team in the AL East.
Oh, boy.
Actually, no, the Red Sox
Right
going.
there with those, baby.
What are you talking
I don't
about?
know, Waz.
Right
You
there with
picked
the-
the Yankees to finish second, so everything you say kind of just.
I didn't realize the rotation wasn't that great.
It's not the best.
That's my bad.
Not the
Yeah,
best.
that's on me. That's on me.
Also, you
I'm
also
sorry.
picked the Dodgers to win their division, just not true. So
No, I didn't. I had Colorado.
Oh.
Hey, they're valid this year. They're valid.
I guess.
All right. Ready to move on to follow-up questions?
Sure. Let's do it.
Speaking of Colorado, first question: do the Rockies make the playoffs?
no.
Let's not take it.
No,
there.
sir.
Well,
No, sir.
if they win 81 games at home, they only have to win about 10 games on the road to make the playoffs.
Well, see, Colton, they've already
So they
lost,
won't.
They've already lost one
80.
game at home.
They'll win
so.
80 games at home, and they've already won one game on the road, so they're already at 81 wins on the season. So they can put together 10 more wins on the road. They might do it.
Honest,
That's not going to happen, though.
they will be in the running for third place.
In the running for third place. Nice.
In the division. In the division.
In the division. Yeah, in the division.
Make that clear.
In the division.
Out of 5 teams.
Yeah.
Running for third. Solid.
All right, we're not going to spend much time on that one. How could the Brewers fix their hitting struggles?
Get better hitters.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just not really known.
I mean,
Like,
They've always had great bullpen.
yeah,
Rotation.
They're more of a pitching team.
I agree, but they still are in for some positive regression as well. I don't think they're going to be as bad as they were in the first series. But yeah, it's definitely a concern for sure.
They need Ricky Weeks and Prince Fielder back.
Their lineup is not that bad. It's not as bad as they're performing right now, for sure. I think they'll be okay. I don't think.
Dude,
they
you
need
said
to-
Prince Fielder? All right. Would you rather be a Gold Glove or Silver Slugger winner?
Would
Hit
you?
tanks.
Would you rather be?
Hit
Would you rather be
tanks.
Nick? Would you rather be Nick Ahmed or Vladimir Guerrero Jr.?
I'd rather
Yeah.
hit tanks,
No,
personally.
okay, well, when you put it that way,
That's
But-
It's an extremely valid way to put it.
But there's a second part to the question. Which is best for the team?
I think
The one
Vladdy
who
has
hits
a
50
little more
bombs.
production for the team. I'm not gonna lie. I gotta be honest. I don't think the Gold Glove did much for them. Gotta be
So,
honest.
so the
Yeah,
answer to
no,
that question is Silver Slugger.
I'd rather be an elite hitter with average defense than an elite defender with an average bat.
Just think of Tatis.
Oh.
Excuse me?
Well, see, that's below average defense.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
I know the guy.
Okay.
I can't be saying this. I'm wearing Padres.
Come on.
Okay.
All right. Who's going to win the World Series?
Toronto Blue Jays.
Sure.
Bozo.
It is
L
April
pick.
11th.
It is.
Yeah.
It is in fact.
It's a
April.
little early.
It is
It's a little,
April 11th.
it's a little early to tell. I'm personally, I have to agree with Colin to start the year at least. It's not
Ooh.
a rare pick,
Like
but
Toronto,
The
they're stacked.
Orioles?
Those?
I think they have a chance, but I don't.
Yeah.
You don't. Not
Health, man, health. The Russian hurt. I
Waz said the Rays are overrated after they just swept the Orioles. Like,
I watched all 3 games. They didn't look that good.
Bro.
they won 3 games.
They're never gonna look good. They just win games.
Yeah,
They don't care how
it makes no sense.
They
but-
pull random dudes out of grocery stores and turn them into Cy Youngs, man. It's what they do.
Pretty much, yep. Have you ever watched the KBO, Korean Baseball Organization?
have not. Well,
Only Ha-Sung Kim highlights.
He says it's a lot of fun to watch.
okay,
Check
Check that out.
I
probably
just
is.
wanna,
More entertaining league.
if you guys happen to hear a cat in the background, there is a stray cat outside my house meowing. Heads up.
He's there every night, bro. Gotta kick him out.
I'm not gonna say it because we're good.
Let's see. Only a couple left, honestly. Will the Lakers make a comeback next season over to basketball?
I mean, I don't know how to answer that because they're going to have a completely different roster. They're going to do whatever
Yeah.
LeBron wants to do. So we'll see.
It's a little.
And whether
I don't really
that-
answer that.
That's good or bad, who knows?
We'll see if LeBron makes the
But I
right
mean-
choices this offseason. The last one
as of
wasn't it?
as of right now, I don't see how. It's weird to answer that because, like, I want to say I don't see how they can get better because
I
of
think a
age.
better question is Westbrook a Laker next year?
I'd say so.
I think he will be,
Probably.
unless they trade him for a star. Like, I don't know,
They
but
ain't getting it. They'd have
but yeah,
to-
exactly. I don't think.
I don't even know that you could trade that contract. Period.
Exactly. I don't think anyone else is going to trade for him, so I think
Yeah.
you'll have to be.
Probably.
I don't know. It's weird. Yeah, like I said, it's weird because I don't see how they get better due to age.
But then again,
But
I mean, their GM acknowledged that the roster completely didn't work. So maybe they find a way to just dump the contract and then do something else. But who knows?
Did you see Colin Coward's trade proposal between the Lakers?
No,
and the
that was the
Warriors?
stupidest thing I've ever seen.
Lakers and who? Warriors?
The Lakers and Warriors.
It was
Was LeBron involved?
It was Anthony Davis for Klay Thompson and Wiseman.
Yeah, because the Warriors would do that.
because either team would do that. What?
Yeah,
I think the Lakers would do that.
I don't see why they would. I mean, he's
I don't do that if I'm either team. That's
I think-
stupid. You don't make that trade. Period. That's dumb trade.
Yeah, but I also don't see how the Lakers could get worse. Like,
What?
that's another thing.
no, not from the
Wait,
trade. I'm
what
just
do you-
talking in
What do
general.
you mean?
I should have. Hold on. My bad.
Oh,
Let me recheck.
Anthony, you're giving up Anthony Davis.
No, I'm not. I'm
I
not
think
talking about
he's
that. I'm not talking
he
about that.
doesn't see
Hang
them
on.
getting any worse than they were last.
You know how I said I don't see them improving due to age. Adding on to that, I don't see how they get worse from how they were this year because they underperformed so much. So I don't know. But again, the question isn't if they get better or worse; it's if they make a comeback. So I don't know. We'll see. It's way too early to tell.
See what they're
Ask that
offering.
question again in a few months, and we'll let you know. Final question. To run a lot, I posted this like 2 hours ago. So, football question. End of year. End of the episode. Prediction for the Chiefs this year.
The Chiefs.
Oh,
It's a good question for this group.
that's not what I expected, but
We have a Chargers fan, Raiders fan, Ravens fan in here. So,
well, I think. Never mind.
share your thoughts, Mike. Speak your mind.
They're not winning the division.
Yes.
I don't know which team's gonna step up and do it, but they're not winning the division. That's my hot take. I guess.
I want to see what happens in the draft.
No, but they're still the Chiefs.
They will shat on the entire league because he's Patrick Mahomes and he will figure it out.
You know what's sad? I can see that happening.
We'll find a way.
It's
Kelsey might get 2,000 receiving yards this year.
So you can say that, but at the same time, it's like now you're just locked on it. Like every single team is just locked on him, but they use him in such a special way.
There's no
throughout-
stopping him.
I don't even know if that's gonna matter.
There's no
It's
stopping
like
him.
before, it was like, okay, you either double him or you double Tyreek, or you do both and try and let their other receivers earn a good game. But it's like he's used in such a unique way that I don't think it'll matter if they're just locked onto him.
Do you guys know the "Don't Let Them Know Your Next Move" videos where they just keep doing random things?
Yes.
Did you see the football one?
No.
So it was on a football field. They kept doing a bunch of random things, and the top comment was the Chiefs on 4th and goal.
Oh my god.
It was the
Yeah,
funniest. It was the funniest thing I read on Instagram.
Yeah, it's true though. You like
It's ridiculous. No, he's the best tight end in football.
In the Super Bowl, that one play where they all freaking turned around and
Yeah.
did it, like, yeah, I don't know.
He's the best tight end. Kelsey is the best tight end in football. He's been the best tight end in football. He's going to continue to be the best tight end in football. So
49er fans.
I don't know. For me personally, I want to see what happens in this draft, especially with the Chargers. I don't know what approach they'll take. Colton, I don't know if you want to add on to that, but
I think we'll get the back. Kenny Pickett. Honestly, I think at this point it's kind of just becoming to get another receiver because we signed Sebastian Joseph Day and that other defensive tackle. A lot of the times it was mocked to be Jordan Davis, but at this point I think it's either a receiver or we end up taking Trevor Penning as our right tackle.
Yeah, that's what I've been seeing a lot of receivers, but at the same time I feel like I don't know. I'd like to see another piece on that defense.
High on Penning. I think he has a high motor and he's a mauler, but as far as a NFL caliber offensive tackle, I don't see it all the way there. So that's kind of a project pick. And at this point, the Chargers kind of have to be in win now mode and can't really do a project because they're going to have to pay Justin Herbert soon. So it's kind of the windows now.
Yeah.
Take advantage of that. So drafting a first rounder as a project isn't what I think is ideal for the team.
Yeah. Do the Raiders have a first round pick?
What do you think, Nick? What do you think?
No.
What do you think?
Don't. we use that on something.
They would have drafted it.
I figured, but I wanted to make sure before I.
Hey, Colin, I'm right there with you. You know.
Yeah.
You can get rid of that for Devontae. I had to do that because they would have drafted.
Oh yeah.
They would have drafted either a guy that's in jail or a guy that's exited.
Oh wow.
Oh, he ain't wrong. He is not wrong. He is not wrong.
Happens.
One thing I'll say about the AFC West, the Broncos are fourth place regarding any regarding any injuries. Like if Derek Carr, Herbert, Mahomes get hurt, they're not fourth place, obviously. But as of right now, based on the rosters we have right now, the health we have right now, Broncos are the worst team in that division, in my opinion, at least. I see the other three. I see three teams making the playoffs.
You better be careful. All five Broncos fans are going to come at us.
Oh, it's who?
Huh?
All the Broncos fans?
Yeah, I said come after you.
I said all. What?
What's this guy talking about?
What did you say? Okay.
All right. Any other thoughts on this question? Or are these any questions? Anything at all?
Just heads up to the NFL. All AFC West games should be on prime time.
Yes.
Honestly, bro.
Yes.
AFC West versus AFC West.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know any single fan that would complain about watching.
It should be 6. It should be both Chiefs Raiders game, both Chiefs Chargers game, and then both Raiders Chargers games.
At least.
Broncos get no national television games.
Well, they will, but it's just.
No, of course they will.
They can have one against the Chiefs because they will end in a tie.
Oh my god!
All right, I think that's a good spot to wrap it up. That's gonna do it for episode 34. As always, hope you guys enjoyed that, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.